First 12 chapters of Samuel are extraordinarily interesting, and they are our focus as we begin day 65 of our journey through the Bible. The account begins with the story of Hannah. She is a barren woman who prays, "Remember me," to God. Hannah vows if she can bear a child, she will raise him as a Nazirite. You recall this is a vow that was caused a person to become sort of a lay priest. Samson made a vow such as this, one of the judges, but he didn't keep it. Well, Samuel was the child of God's doing, and he kept the vow implicitly. He, along with Samson and John the Baptist, are the three men mentioned in the Bible who were Nazirites. Samuel is given to Eli, the high priest, to be raised in the service of Yahweh. Eli is an undisciplined priest father who did not bring up his sons to faith in God as they served in the temple. The sons were evil. They regarded Belial as the true God. They stole the offerings. They bullied the people. They committed adultery right in the tabernacle. The sons were warned through an unnamed prophet and through the boy Samuel. And in 1 Samuel chapter 4, the first 10 verses, Israel is defeated by the Philistines. The Ark of the Covenant is captured, and the sons of Eli are killed. When Eli learns of this, he has what appears to be a heart attack and falls dead from his seat. His daughter-in-law dies in childbirth, but not before she names her baby Ichabod, which means the glory of the Lord has departed. In chapters 5 and 6 of 1 Samuel, the captured ark proves to be a curse to the Philistines wherever it's taken. It is really almost a humorous story as you read city after city of the Philistines treating it like a hot potato because they all discover that it's not something they really want. At Ashdod, it destroyed the statue of the idol god Dagon and struck the people with boils. It gets moved to Gath, and once again, people suffer from boils. Ekron, the same thing happens. There are many who look at what is described there, and it looks very much like the bubonic plague or the Black Death later experienced in much of Europe. The ark is finally taken to an Israelite town by the Philistines. There, some foolish men look into it, and it causes a divine judgment from God. You can read about that in chapter 6. Then it's taken to Kirjath-jearim, and it remained there for 20 years. Chapter 7, Samuel becomes a circuit-riding prophet of the Lord. He gathers all of Israel together at Mizpah for a great revival. The Philistines hear about it and mobilize to attack. You'll want to read about it for yourself, how God miraculously deals with this threat. Then in chapter 8, Israel's leaders demand that Samuel give them a king. Samuel says, "You already have a king, Yahweh." No, they say, "We want a king like all the other nations around us." And with this, it seems that Israel takes God's second best for their lives. They're given a king. He is King Saul, but he ends his career as a suicide. I don't know if you see that in your life, but I can see it some in mine, where rather than waiting for God's best, we decide what we think is best. Sometimes he'll give us that second best, our first choice, and we end up learning a bitter lesson. It would be worth praying over today. Lord, what in my life am I settling for as your second best? The scripture for today is from 1 Samuel chapter 1. We begin with verse 10. She was deeply distressed and prayed to the Lord and wept bitterly. And she vowed a vow and said, "O Lord of hosts, if you will indeed look on the affliction of your servant and remember me and not forget your servant, but will give to your servant a son, then I will give him to the Lord all the days of his life, and no razor shall touch his head." As she continued praying before the Lord, Eli observed her mouth. Hannah was speaking in her heart. Only her lips moved, and her voice was not heard. Therefore Eli took her to be a drunken woman. And Eli said to her, "How long will you go on being drunk? Put your wine away from you." But Hannah answered, "No, my Lord, I am a woman troubled in spirit. I have drunk neither wine nor strong drink, but I have been pouring out my soul before the Lord. Do not regard your servant as a worthless woman, for all along I have been speaking out of my great anxiety and vexation." Then Eli answered, "Go in peace, and the God of Israel grant your petition that you have made to him." And she said, "Let your servant find favor in your eyes." Then the woman went her way and ate, and her face was no longer sad.